So now let's learn about the next simple machine, that is a lever. So if a big stone is bogged down in the farm, what does a farmer uses to remove it? Yes, a farmer uses a strong crowbar to remove it. Such a machine is called a lever. A lever has three parts, namely effort, load, and fulcrum. The support at which the rod of a lever is rested is called the fulcrum of a lever. The lever rotates about the fulcrum. Here, once again I'll explain, that is the brown part, whatever you are able to see in a triangular shape, that is called as a fulcrum, because it gives the support to the lever. Also, lever is rotating about this part, and such a part is called as a fulcrum. Next part what we are going to learn, that is load. The weight lifted by a lever or the force against which the lever acts is called the load. The arm of the lever from the fulcrum to the load is called load arm. Okay, so here the box whatever is there, that is a load, because we are trying to lift it, yes, or we are applying the force against it, yeah. So that is called as a load, yeah. Now from fulcrum to the load, that part of lever is called as a load arm. Okay, now we'll learn the third part, that is the force applied on the other end of the rod to lift the load is called the effort. Okay, the part of the lever from the fulcrum to the effort is called effort arm. So, wherever we are giving pressure or we are applying force, or wherever force is applied, that part is called as a effort. Okay, so from fulcrum to effort, that part of lever is called as a effort arm. So now we have learned about the lever, and we have understood that lever is very useful simple machine. So on page number 86 they have asked one question, that is, use your brain power. Which task can be done using a lever? So the different tasks which can be done using a lever are, we can remove or open a lid of a tin container. Second, we can use a scissor and cut a piece of cloth. Removing groundwater using hand pump. Lifting the hot utensils using kitchen tongs are some of the examples. Some other tasks what can be done using a lever are opening the bottle cover using an opener, cracking the nut using nut cracker, catching fish using fishing rod, or lifting the water using our hand are some of the examples or tasks which can be done using a lever. So up till now we have learnt what is a lever. Now let's learn more about it through an activity. So let's start with an activity, that is activity 1. Here we require a pencil, so we'll place a pencil on a table. Place a ruler on it at right angles with it. Put a paper weight on one end of the ruler. Press the other end with your fingers to lift the weight. So children, which are the load arm, the effort arm and the fulcrum of this lever? So here the ruler is placed on the pencil. So pencil is supporting the ruler, thus pencil is called the fulcrum. So here we are having load arm, that is from pencil to the load, that is paper weight. Here we are giving force, means we are applying effort. So this part is called as a effort arm. It is from the pencil to the effort. Now let us go on increasing the distance between the paperweight and the pencil by 4 cm every time and see whether the paperweight can be lifted when placed at each of those distances. What do we observe? We observe that when the distance between the paperweight and pencil increases, that is the load arm, the effort required to lift the load also increases. So, what can be done to make the lifting easier? We can increase the distance between the effort and the pencil, that is the effort arm. As the effort arm becomes longer and longer compared to the load arm, less and less force is required to lift the paper weight. That is, when the effort arm goes on becoming longer and longer, whatever effort we require to lift the object also decreases. Yes, as it decreases, such a lever is called a lever of the first order. That is first order lever. So now let's learn about the next type of lever through another activity. So now we will try to remove the cap of a sauce bottle. So we require an opener, sauce bottle and with a metal cap. So the opener is rested on the cap and we will apply a force on the opposite end of the opener to pull it upwards. The cap also gets pulled upward as the opener rotates about the fulcrum. So children, can you tell me where are the fulcrum, load and effort in this case? Let's find out the answer to it. So what are we trying to remove? Yes, we are trying to remove the cap of the sauce bottle. Yes, therefore the load is the cap. Yes, the small part of the opener acts as a fulcrum, that is above, see, and the larger end acts as the effort because we are applying force there. So did you get the fulcrum, load and effort in this case? Yes, so in this case load is in center, thus this is called as a second order lever. Yes, so in second order lever the load is in center, effort is at one side and fulcrum is on another side. So this type of lever is called as lever of the second order. So now let's learn the third type of lever. For that we'll perform one more activity. Let's try to pick up an ice cube with the help of the tongs. Yeah. So how did we do this? Where are the load, effort and fulcrum in this case? Yes, the weight or the load are at one end of the tongs. Yeah. We apply effort in the middle of the arms. Yes, it means the effort is applied in the middle of the lever while the fulcrum and the load are at the opposite ends. From all these three activities, we come to know there are three types of levers depending upon the positions of the effort, the fulcrum and the load. So the lever of the first order, the fulcrum is in the center, the load is at one end while the effort is at other end. The examples are pry bar, pair of scissors, seesaw, hand pump, kitchen tongs, pliers are the example of first order lever. Lever of the second order. The load is in the center, the fulcrum on one side and the effort on the other side. Bottle opener, wheelbarrow, nutcracker are examples of second order lever. Lever of the third order, the effort is in the center, the fulcrum on one side and the load on the other side. Fishing rod, a stapler, ice tong are the third order levers. Now let us learn about the next simple machine, that is a pulley. So let's learn about it through an activity. So let's begin with an activity. The apparatus required for this activity are a pencil, a sticking tape, an empty reel of thread, half meter of thick thread, a weight such as an eraser, and a play duff. Now let's proceed to do an activity. We will take a pencil and place the pencil on the table so that it juts over the edge of the table. Fix it firmly to the table using the sticking tape. Now insert the reel over the part of the pencil that juts out. Put a lump of the play duff on the tip of the pencil so that the reel does not come off. Now tie an eraser to the free end of the thick thread. Place the thread on the reel. Now pull the loosened end of the thread downwards. What do we observe? When we pull the loosened end of the thread downwards, the weight tied at the other end gets lifted up. Such a device with a grooved wheel and a thread designed to lift weights is called a pulley. So, how does it help to use a pulley? If we use a pulley, force can be applied in the downward direction for lifting the weight in an upward direction. This is convenient and easy. You must have seen some examples of pulleys in day-to-day use. Make a list of this. Here are some examples where we make use of pulley in our day-to-day life. The pulley is used to draw water from a well, to hoist the flag, to raise a curtain, and to lift the wet cement concrete up to the higher floors in construction work. So now let's study about the next simple machine, that is a wheel and axle. All of you must have enjoyed sitting on a giant wheel, isn't it? Yes, it's great fun to sit on a giant wheel. Have you ever thought what makes the giant wheel go round? The giant wheel is fitted to a rod at its center. This rod is called an axle. When the axle starts rotating with the help of electricity, the wheel fitted to it also starts rotating. This combination of an axle and a wheel is a simple machine. We see innumerable examples of its uses. It is used in egg beater, sieving machine, mixer, bicycle wheel, and the steerings of car and bus. Have you ever observed when the pedal of a bicycle is rotated, the wheel starts rotating? Do you know how this happens? When the pedal of bicycle is rotated, it turns the axle at the center, which in turn rotates the wheel of bicycle. So now let's begin with the last point of the lesson, that is maintenance of machines. We all know when machines run, the parts of machines rub against one another. Solid, dusty parts create more frictions. Some parts are affected by the weather and they rust and erode. Machines get damaged or become useless due to such wear and tear. To avoid this, it is very important to take care of machines. During the maintenance of machine, all its parts are wiped clean. Oil or lubricant is released between parts that rub against each other, so that there is less friction between them and the wearing is reduced. Machines are covered when not in use to prevent dust settling on them. To prevent the effect of weather, metallic parts in machines are painted externally and the machines are always kept dry. Do you know Big factories have a separate department for the maintenance of machines. Factories are closed at regular fixed periods for the maintenance of machines. Always remember, if machines are not properly maintained, they will be of no use when we actually need them. Before we use a machine, we must learn how to handle it properly so that there are no accidents. What we have learned: machines are used for reducing efforts and doing more work in less time. Some machines are simple while others are complex. The wedge, the lever, the inclined plane, the pulley, and the wheel and axle are simple machines. There are three types of levers based on the position of effort, load, and fulcrum. Machines should be maintained properly to keep them in good working condition. So here we have completed the lesson Simple Machines. I hope you have understood the lesson. So now you can read the lesson and understand the concepts more clearly. Thank you.